BeakerBeat.
It's Monday, January 23rd, 2012. In this week's BeakerBeat, Rodney King once asked, can't we all just get along? And apparently they can in Switzerland, as Novartis, its workers, and local leaders work together to save jobs. Details coming up. Plus, Ireland gets a big investment from a pharma giant. I'll drink a pint of Guinness to that.
Hey y'all, I'm Paula Deen.
And she's been cooking everything with butter and lard for years. And now Paula Deen announces she suffers from the same ailment many of her fans do. And we're not talking about a bad haircut. Grab yourself something deep fat fried and enjoy this week's edition of BeakerBeat, brought to you by Life Technologies. To learn more about Life Technologies, visit their company webpage on Beaker.com. Look at that. The perfect sound of bacon frying in the pan. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's edition of BeakerBeat. I'm Mike Justice, thanks for tuning in. Well, in honor of Paula Deen's coming out announcing that she has type 2 diabetes, we're going to try one of her famous, now infamous recipes. I think it's called the Lady Brunch Burger. It involves bacon, which of course is amazing. Anything with bacon in it is great. It also has hamburger, fried eggs, and donuts. Donuts. So we're going to see how this thing plays out. Hopefully, after I make it and eat it, I won't drop dead of a heart attack. But we'll find out by the end of the show. So more on Paula Deen and her type 2 diabetes announcement later on, but first here's this week's top story. The U.S. Congress could learn a lesson in compromise and civility from the Swiss. Novartis has reversed a previous decision to close a plant and has reduced the number of layoffs in another. After workers in Nyon, Switzerland stopped work to protest their plant's closure, the company sat down to talk about other options. Now, more than 300 Nyon workers will keep their jobs. The catch is, they'll forego pay increases and have to work more hours without extra pay. Now, also helping seal the deal, local officials gave temporary tax breaks, and the company will invest about $42 million into modernizing the plant going forward. The other plant in question is in Basel, where Novartis is based, and the good news there is the company won't cut all 760 jobs it had planned to shed there. Instead, early retirement will be offered for some, while others are relocated in the company. Novartis said last fall it would be cutting 2,000 jobs over 3 years, more than half of those in Switzerland, and some work would be outsourced to cheaper areas like China. That's when Swiss unions and political activists staged protests. So kudos to CEO Joe Jimenez for making the effort to negotiate a deal and save jobs. Okay, so we're frying up lots of bacon here. We're also frying up the burgers. They're looking pretty good. And the eggs are next. My taste buds in my stomach can't wait to see what this thing tastes like. My heart, not so much. Already having palpitations. Well, tell us what you think about this story or any story that you see in today's show. Very simple. You type in your comment in the box below. Send it to me. I promise I'll read and respond to every one of them. Now it's time to fry the eggs in butter. Butter. Look at that. What could possibly go wrong, right? I don't think I've fried an egg in butter in years. The egg alone might kill me. And when you're done watching BeakerBeat, check out Beaker's blog and see why the top brass at Alkermes and Amlin are on pins and needles. Plus a final agreement between the FDA and pharma on user fees for prescription, generic, and biosimilar drugs goes to Congress. Find out what happens next. Those stories and more on Beaker's blog. You know, it's one of these eternal mysteries. I don't know what it is. Whenever I cook a pound of bacon, by the end, I've got like 3 slices left. I don't know what happens. Allergan is investing plenty of green in the land that's known for green. The company will invest $350 million in Ireland to expand development and manufacturing capabilities at its Westport operation. This will create approximately 200 new jobs at the site over the next 4 years and an estimated 250 indirect jobs locally during the construction period. Allergan will expand manufacturing capacity for Botox and develop a manufacturing base for the next generation of biologic products currently in the pipeline. IDA Ireland supports the investment, with CEO Barry O'Leary saying, quote, I am delighted to welcome Allergan's decision to locate this strategic investment at its Westport operation. The company has a long history with Ireland and the IDA, and the announcement further embeds Allergan's presence in Ireland.
I'd gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Good news, bad news for drug makers selling their products to Spain. Last week, Spain's new health minister, Ana Mato, met with the pharma industry, and she promised the government will pay all drug debts countrywide to the tune of $7.5 billion. The downside, she didn't say when they would be paid back. So we're taking bets on which happens first. Spain pays this off, or the Cubs win the World Series. I'm taking Spain on this one. Clearly, the baseball gods hate the Cubs. The U.S. Court of Appeals in D.C. has reaffirmed a lower court decision that FDA warning letters are not final agency actions. This basically means companies can't seek judicial review of the letters under the Administrative Procedures Act. Durham, North Carolina-based Quintiles plans to open its 4th hub in China. It's for a new business process outsourcing operation that will employ 500 workers. The move comes just weeks after Quintiles announced plans to set up a new CRO based in Beijing. Bloomberg reports Johnson & Johnson will pay $158 million to settle a high-profile Texas suit alleging it defrauded the state by misleading doctors about its antipsychotic drug Risperdal. The deal will wrap up the state's claims that J&J marketed Risperdal for unapproved uses and downplayed its risks. The state had sought at least $579 million in damages. Takeda Pharma is taking its turn at cutting jobs. The Japanese company is targeting 2,800 job cuts by 2016. Most are in Europe, with about 700 positions targeted in the U.S. Takeda aims to save $2.6 billion with the move, which stems directly from last year's multi-billion-dollar buyout of the Swiss drug maker Nycomed. Novartis has temporarily shuttered its Lincoln, Nebraska OTC drug plant. This comes after being hit with a 13-page Form 483 noting a pattern of problems with investigations into foreign tablets in product batches. No word on when it will reopen. St. Paul-based device maker Torax Medical won a positive preliminary recommendation for its implantable device to treat chronic severe acid reflux disease. An FDA advisory committee unanimously voted that the Lynx device, a magnetic band placed around the lower esophagus, was safe and effective for treating the disease if it does not respond to medication. This sounds like something Jeremy could use after working with me. Hey Jeremy, this is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. Or it's your brain after working with me for 3 years. Either way. The New York Post reports the Obama administration will likely block a proposed $716 million offer by geriatric pharmacy provider Omnicare for PharMerica. Omnicare and PharMerica are the country's two biggest companies that essentially act as pharmacies to patients in nursing homes and assisted living centers. A U.S. subsidiary of Japan's Terumo Corp has acquired Irvine, California-based Onset Medical for an undisclosed amount. Onset is a medical device company that develops sheath technology designed for multiple, minimally invasive clinical applications in cardiology and urology.
Got 2 sticks of butter, of sugar, of heavy cream.
Okay, so we're almost there. The final stage in creating Paula Deen's heart attack-inducing sandwich is to take the glazed donuts, slice them in half like they're buns, and then put all the meat and the egg and the bacon on there. So what we'll do now... Oh, wait a second. Who took a bite of the donut? Jeremy. Hope you're sitting down for this shocking announcement. Chef and butter queen Paula Deen recently told the world what we already suspected. She has type 2 diabetes. Cooking everything in butter and lard and grease and Lord knows what else will probably do that to you. But wait, there's more. Deen has also been chosen as a diabetes drug spokeswoman. Yes, the one who knowingly cooks food that is delicious but is out to kill you will now be selling drugs to fix her self-inflicted condition. This is a woman whose recipes include the Fat Daryl sandwich, the deep-fried bagel sandwich, and the notorious Ladies Brunch Burger, which substitutes a normal white bread bun with glazed donuts.
Forbidden donut.
Now, Deen does use Novo Nordisk's Victoza, and she'll be pitching their product. This, of course, looks bad on the surface. Having Deen as your spokesman is a little like having a mechanic break your engine, then offer to fix it for you. Celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain has called her, quote, the most dangerous person to America, end quote, partly because she waited for 3 years to disclose her diagnosis. Now, to be fair, this didn't just happen overnight, as Novo had actually contacted Deen some time ago, challenging her to develop some diabetes-friendly recipes. The press release says she'll be making lifestyle changes of her own as well. So maybe now that donut hamburger will be a bit healthier. Hold the mayo and maybe the butter. Okay, so our masterpiece is complete and ready to try. I'm going to see how this thing goes down. Now, just in case, I have an adrenaline shot here, so if my heart stops, Jeremy, you're going to have to hit me in the chest with it, a la Pulp Fiction. Now remember, we are professionals, so don't try this at home. Oh!
Everything okay? No problem, just having a heart attack.
Sorry, my heart stopped there for a moment. Oddly enough, it doesn't suck. But you know what? It's missing something. I think I should add a cupcake to the mix. That would make it perfect. Well, that's it for this week's edition of BeakerBeat. I'm Mike Justice. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Back to this delicious, heart-stopping concoction. It's a little messy. Sit, Beaker. Sit. Good dog. I think you should call it a lumberjack brunch sandwich. Not a lady brunch. I need a napkin.